It feels like a do or die moment. I've already done this too many times to even be too worried about it. Don't worry about nothing else and start boxing. Ready? Here we go. Just on the ground, you got clowns out here asking me what my intentions are today. Bro, I'm trying to train. I'm locked in. For this camp, we've been keeping it pretty with the same kind of pattern. You know, we wake up around 8:30, then head to the, strength and conditioning gym. We lift weights, we do, conditioning drills, sprints, all that stuff. Then we take a minor, 10-minute break, and then we head to, boxing.
This year was brutal because of the suspension he had, of the mental breakdown that he might have, had caused because of that, knowing that he was innocent. But we were there for him, as parents, as father. I stayed with him and I told him, well, I'm here if you need me, but he went through a lot. So going into that fight with Rolando Romero, he wasn't like this.
Just treating my body like a temple, what you put in is just as important. I was just so used to just being like a superhuman almost and just never getting affected by anything I put in my body.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Forward. Let's go. Push it.
I feel like I've definitely been underestimated in my career.
Get stronger as you finish. Nice work. Come on, Mario. Let's attack it.
That's not something that has bothered me much.
Maybe glory in this task, but there's no shortage of risk.
Why am I doing this? Why didn't I stay in school? Days and workouts like that, they push you to a mental where you really have to question, like, why am I doing this? For me, there are a couple of reasons. For myself, I've been in boxing since I was 6. I have love for this game.
Not this time. It's Al Azteca time.
Former Trainer of the Year Bob Santos feels there's a real sense of momentum in Barrios' camp. Barrios is focused on turning experience into evolution. He's known for delivering action-packed fights.
It's about to be it's gonna be bad because I know all that. I know what he's training like. I know everything. They could say, like, oh, he knows, but he didn't train with me long enough. I know, been knowing Joe since I was 17. I know exactly, and I haven't trained with him. I just watched him, so I know exactly how he trains his fighter, exactly what they're doing.
As the fight nears, Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios train rigorously, staying completely focused, disciplined, and determined to give their peak performance when fight night arrives. Ryan Garcia works in the gym, honing his timing and hand speed on the reflex bag under the guidance of coach Eddie Rioso. Mario Barrios powers through grueling rounds in camp, refining his combinations and defensive footwork.
Y'all are gonna see why I'm the champion in the first place. This is like the kind of thing that you dream of as a.
Each training session showcases discipline, focus, and determination, steadily building toward fight night. Ryan stays confident in his victory, firmly believing that his preparation, focus, and skill will lead to a commanding performance.
Against the current. High tide, mother. Get out the water. And I ain't no lifeguard, so you.
Ryan focuses on sharpening his jab and perfecting his powerful left hook during training. Despite the unexpected turn of his former trainer now working with Mario Barrios, Ryan Garcia stays completely unfazed, showing remarkable focus and mental toughness. He refuses to let outside distractions disrupt his preparation, approaching every gym session with purpose and discipline, fully committed to honing his skills and staying in peak physical condition.
Oh, he already know. This is about to be a... oh, it's going to be bad, because I know all that. I know what he's training like. I know everything. You know, they could say, oh, he knows, but he didn't train with me long enough. I know, been knowing Joe since I was 17. I know exactly, and I haven't trained with him. I just watched him, so I know exactly how he trains his fighter, exactly what they're doing. So to me, it was like, oh, thank God you gave me an advantage. Like, it's just another advantage for me. And, you know, word leaks, things leak, you know. Joe was a part of that. I don't want to get too into it, but, you know.
You think Joe was leaking stuff out of you?
I don't know. I didn't say that. Allegedly. I don't know. I have no clue.
Mario, a lot of trainers in boxing. Why'd you go with the one that used to train Ryan Garcia?
I mean, it was like...
Ryan meticulously performs every drill, from speed and reflex exercises to defensive moves and powerful combinations, leaving no part of his game overlooked. His mindset remains steadfast, valuing consistency and control over emotional reactions. Even with the added pressure of a familiar coach now aiding his opponent, Ryan turns potential tension into motivation rather than distraction. His mental fortitude, paired with precise, methodical training, underscores why he is regarded as one of the most focused and prepared fighters in the sport today.
To do with Ryan, like that was gonna happen regardless of whether this fight was made or not. It's just kind of coincidence that it happened to happen next.
You think it was a coincidence?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was. I don't think it was more like, I don't think it was like, hey, I'm gonna do this to try to throw him off. I'll be real. I think it was a missed chess move. I don't think it was a good chess move, but we'll see. You know?
Why don't you think it was a good chess move?
I just don't think it's a good fit for him. I don't. I think, you know, Bob was cool. I fucked with Bob. You know, Bob was a good trainer. So we'll see. We'll see though. Maybe he can prove me wrong. Shit, we'll see, right? That's the whole point of this.
How's the fit been?
It's been good. I mean, I stayed, you know, I came out here to LA.
Analyst Wade Plemons offered an insightful perspective on the complex bond between fighters and their coaches, emphasizing the often overlooked balance of influence and growth. He noted that success in the ring rarely stems from a single factor, instead arising from a partnership where both contribute to development. While a coach provides guidance, technique, strategy, and experience, a fighter's dedication, adaptability, and work ethic equally shape the coaching relationship. Plemons highlighted that some fighters...
Is it a coach that makes the fighter or the fighter that makes the coach? Now, Joe Goossen has a track record of being a high-level boxing coach. We know that. But do coaches change for fighters, or do they implement what they know to fighters and fighters change for coaches? Because this will be the crux of what happens here. Can Joe Goossen, not to call Mario Barrios old, but can he teach an old dog new tricks? Can he give him something that Bob Santos hasn't? Sure. Can he give him more info about what Ryan likes to do? Absolutely. But will it be enough to prepare him for what Ryan knows that Joe knows? And how Joe trains fighters, and how Joe runs a camp, and how rigid he might be. And even that last part, Ryan's talking about information leaking maybe from Joe, or that Joe was leaking information about Barrios, or about, I'm not sure who he was talking about Ryan, about Barrios, but Ryan again seems confident that he knows exactly what they want to do, and maybe even knows what's going on in Barrios' camp, which again, does that really mean a lot? Who knows?
This mutual influence fosters a dynamic environment where progress comes from shared commitment rather than top-down instruction. Plemons also observed that watching fighter-coach interactions reveals a fighter's mindset, discipline, and resilience. Ultimately, He emphasized that championship-level performance relies on this balance of guidance and personal drive, with both fighter and coach pushing each other higher through effort, trust, and shared ambition, applies to both of these athletes.
The Rolly fight, everything was super laid back. I was there at the press conference watching Ryan just kind of more be so, locked in on Devin and maybe overlooking Rolly. He can't make that mistake here. And it doesn't look like he has. It doesn't look like he's overlooked Mario Barrios. He absolutely believes he's going to knock Mario Barrios out. And that kind of confidence is what you want to see. This is kind of the old Ryan. A little bit more, I would say, subdued, obviously, than the Devin Haney fight. But in his early career, he was a subdued guy. The trash talk started coming out more with the Gervonta Davis fight and even the Oscar Duarte fight. He was talking trash to Oscar De La Hoya. He was like, yo, you want him to win? Watch this. And again, as much as Barrios, I think, is the most gettable champion at 47 right now, he's still...
Ryan Garcia's father and mentor spoke candidly about the unexpected situation involving Mario Barrios and veteran coach Joe Goossen, noting how rare it is for a coach to switch sides in this way. While Ryan ultimately owns his decisions, his father admitted he was initially surprised, given Goossen's history of working with fighters who later became opponents. He reflected on the professional nature of the sport, emphasizing that such transitions, though uncommon, demand careful handling and strong emotional resilience.
Well, it's my son is the one that, felt that way. I felt that way, that it was kind of a surprise at first, but then I recall Joe telling me that he did that in the past. He did that in the past where he would train a fighter, and then about 3-4 months later, he would fight against the guy, who he trained. It was kind of weird. So I told Ryan about that. I said, you know what, he does those kind of things. I don't know why he did it against us, but maybe he wanted to get paid or something, but there's no advantage.
The discussion also highlighted the critical role of trust and communication within a fighter's support system, as decisions like these can affect preparation, strategy, and mindset. By sharing his perspective, Ryan's father shed light on the challenges athletes face beyond physical training, stressing the mental and emotional demands of competitive boxing. He emphasized that handling such situations with composure and focus is vital for sustaining performance and staying committed to long-term goals in the sport.
Like, when you look at Ryan, you look at all the other training camps and you guys are back together, united again, how does this one fare upon all the others?
You know what? This is the best I've ever seen, and the best I've witnessed the way his condition is. I mean, it's just a work of art. I mean it, a work of art. This is something that everyone's going to be surprised. And like I said, he's up here, he's 100%. And when he's like that, ain't nobody going to beat him. There's no way. He won't let you. I won't let him, lose, but definitely he's on it. He's just like, he's on.
Mario Barrios and his trainer Joe Goossen display exceptional focus and composure as they gear up for the fight against Ryan Garcia. Their training camp is approached methodically, with meticulous attention to detail and a clear grasp of what's at stake. Goossen stresses that no opportunity is ignored, and consistent effort in the gym directly impacts performance in the ring. Barrios reflects this mindset, demonstrating discipline and mental clarity in every drill, sparring session, and strategic discussion.
In the same mistakes he made in the last fight, I want to train Mario to face the best Ryan Garcia that he can possibly be.
Now, in your viewpoint, is it a mistake to jump around trainers as much? Does it hurt a guy? Does it help a guy?
Well, stability in boxing is a valued commodity. Especially if you're winning. You don't fix it if it's not broken, right? But sometimes you can have a relationship with the trainer that just doesn't click for you, and you recognize that, and you may want to
Chris Algieri offered his perspective on Ryan Garcia's upcoming fight, providing a candid view.
Today's age of boxing, like I said, where people are very quick to write you off, regardless, if you got yourself into that position or not. Like I said, I got into that position, by beating Ugas for the interim. And then, I was elevated when Crawford moved up. And of course, me as a fighter, you know, like nobody wants to be elevated as a champion, right? You always think about you winning the title, you know, against the champion, in whatever fashion. But you always imagine yourself, you know, beating the champion. But again, you know, that's just where, you know, boxing is today. And regardless, I'm still very proud of that position that I was able to.
Chris Algieri offered his perspective on Ryan Garcia's upcoming fight, providing a candid view of the sport and its business side. He observed that while the matchup may not appear fully earned on merit alone, such situations are common in boxing, where timing, promotion, and market dynamics often weigh as heavily as in-ring performance. Algieri explained that in the professional arena, these decisions make business sense, generating attention, viewership, and revenue, all vital for sustaining careers and events. He also noted that while fans and media had anticipated the fight for weeks, the official announcement now sharpens focus, sparking analysis, discussion, and renewed excitement throughout the boxing community.
Rolly Romero. You know, people were talking about him walking through Rollies like it was nothing, and then he ends up taking a loss, getting dropped, and losing. So there's I don't know exactly who's going to win this fight, because that's when it comes to Ryan, any prediction you make, it can go completely opposite way.
Yeah, he's an absolute wild card. He goes in there and drops Devin Haney numerous times. He's on Ostarine. He's in the middle of a manic episode, and he looked
in
good
the club. He's in the club the week of the fight every night.
Is that true?
That's what I heard.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I went back and watched some of the interviews I did that week with him at Gleason's gym. That guy it was scary. I mean, I never want to see a fighter like that again.
Algieri emphasized that fighters and trainers must adapt to these developments, focusing on mental and strategic preparation while tuning out outside speculation. The official confirmation turns anticipation into actionable preparation, compelling both camps to elevate training, refine strategies, and approach the fight with professionalism. He highlighted that boxing blends sport and business, where opportunities emerge in diverse ways, requiring adaptability from everyone involved.
Very subdued. Wasn't really promoting the fight. Didn't look like he wanted to be there. Horrible performance. Somewhere in the middle, and I think that's what we're getting right now. He's doing a lot of streams. He's putting himself out there big time, and that way, it's interesting to see how fighters market themselves now in 2026. It's all streamers. We see Terrence Crawford on with Aiden Ross. We see Ryan Garcia doing all these streams now. Teofimo is linked up with Aiden Ross doing brand risk stuff. So when it comes to that, that's interesting. But in terms of Ryan in the ring, even Tyson Fury recently posted on his Instagram story, and he said, this is true star power. Ryan Garcia right back in a title shot off of a loss. True star power. And I was like, yeah, it's true. I mean, it is. It is what it is. And like you said, we're all going.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned, and see you next time.